Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are doing a review of episode 9 of Fargo called The Useless Hand, which we were both kind of worried. We thought, I guess we saw too many Saw movies. We thought Dorothy would cut off her hand or something, but I didn't.
No, I thought that she would break her hand to get it out of the
she
handcuffs.
Might as well have cut it off if she did that, but she was.
And I was wrong. I was wrong. No, she wasn't too smart. It's just that
she managed to undo the cuffs.
She just so happened to get to the key. It wasn't because she knew that she would do that. Like, she just happened to get there and get the key, and it worked out perfectly. And so I was wrong about that title, which I thought there was no way. I thought this is an easy guess that, like, the episode's called The Useless Hand because she's going to break her own. And it's like, nope.
So we were both glad to be wrong.
No, I don't care. I mean, it could have been cool. I mean, it would have added more terror and suspense if she only had one hand to work with.
But I guess it's like other things that there's multiple uses for this word. So
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a useless hand, right, Safi?
Marco? Okay, well, the episode actually begins with Gator and Munch. And remember, Munch overtook Gator. And Munch is somebody you have to worry about if he's not on your side, and especially if you cheated him. And you hurt a lady who was really nice to him and let him stay in her house, and he even said she was going to make pancakes for him.
But he killed her on accident.
Right, it was an accident. But he doesn't know that. And he thought, if he hadn't tried to get that money, and she was there, it never would have happened. He would have stayed away from the car, but he couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they're alone, and I believe it's an ice fishing house. And they have a place you can set up a little fire, make it warm in there, and you make a hole in the ice and you fish. They don't show anything with the hole in the ice, but they show Munch, and he's got this big thing, this metal rod thing, and he's heating it up. And then you have Gator, and he's just offering him all kinds of stuff. He has access to weapons and drugs and prostitutes and anything he wants. And, of course, Munch doesn't even answer him.
Because he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
Which is cool.
He wants to get revenge for the lady.
He's a character who doesn't care about that type of thing, I guess. No. And so something that I would like to mention is the fact that Safi kind of spoiled this and ruined it, because a week ago she sent me like a spoiler picture that showed a character with a blindfold on or something.
I was scared that it was Wayne.
And Safi sent that to me for some reason because she just likes to ruin everything. And so it kind of ruined it because I knew what was going to happen, and I knew like, oh, I already know what's going to happen because Safi ruined it.
Oh, heck. That's BS. How could you know what was going to happen?
Because that's what she likes to do.
We didn't know he's going to get his eyes poked out.
That's what she likes to do, as we saw last year.
Which is gross.
So, that's what happens. And I thought it was a great opening scene. I don't know why we're going to go through the whole episode like people in the audience didn't watch it, because that's not...
And there's spoilers. Make sure we put that in there.
Really?
That's a spoiler.
What? Really?
Okay, Marco, are you just going to keep ragging on me? I won't say anything
I will. There's hardly anything to rag on in the episode, so, maybe I should just rag on you. Because...
Okay, well, I know what you can help clarify for me, and I was going to ask you before we did this review. Dot manages to escape from where she was. I mean, in the cabin or the shed, whatever it is. And then in doing so, she kind of like smashed into the floorboard. And so it was loose, so she pushed it and pushed it. Was she hiding beneath the floorboards when that another hired hand came in and
Safi,
Roy?
is that the most idiotic question I've ever heard, or what?
I'm just not gonna say
you watched
anything
this episode like 5 times.
I was trying to figure out what she did. I couldn't figure it out.
5 times all the way through, and still couldn't figure that one out.
Well, they didn't find her. So she managed to hide very well.
I'm going to say the only thing I didn't like about the episode is, I didn't really not like it, but I just wanted to mention that, there's one point where Roy, he practically puts out the bat signal to get all of his fellow patriots to come over and be his militia and risk their lives to protect him.
Well, he said an officer was down. That's I think he met Gator.
So, when he does that, though, they play YMCA.
But that was not the people. That was the cops that were coming to that.
Safi.
Well, it was queer. Whoever it was really queer.
When they played that song, it was the militia coming. It was not the police. No, Safi. You watched this episode 5 times. You really don't remember that after watching it 5 times?
Okay.
So that was a strange choice.
Very
strange.
And
it echoes my point, pun intended, of the last episode when they had that shitty Britney Spears cover song and that played over Roy and it didn't make any sense, and this song didn't make any sense either. But the difference is that I could more so picture Roy listening to YMCA than listening to a Britney Spears song, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he would listen to, because he's really weird and evil and backward, and so I really don't know what he would listen to, because, I don't know. Like, he's weird and he's just the worst, and so, but that was strange. But other than that, this was practically a perfect episode.
It was very good.
So, I guess maybe we should amend what we said about the season and just say this, I guess. The first 2 episodes were amazing, really, really good. And then I guess the last 3 episodes are going to end up being really, really good. But you have in the middle of that all these kind of like mediocre episodes that should have been a lot better. So that's my reassessment of the season. Because I really hope the finale isn't going to be bad, because I don't see how it could be. The people who made the show, they really did a great job this season. Instead of just killing all these characters off, they basically saved them all for the finale, and they placed them all around this map, like a game or something, like a board game or a chess game, and so they're all gonna collide next episode, and it's cool, because in season 4, that's what should have happened as well, but instead in season 4, you had all these people just dying throughout the season, and they were the main characters, and they shouldn't have died. They killed the marshal way too early, and characters like that, and they ruined it, and they wasted those characters. And in this season, they didn't really waste as many characters. They have wasted what was that guy's name? Newton? Newton or Newt?
Are you talking about the
Wit?
Danish?
Wit or Newton?
Are you talking about the highway patrol person?
Yeah, is he Newton?
Wit.
Oh, he looks like a Newton. So did.
We'll see. He might play more of a factor in the last episode.
Well, they did waste Newton a lot this season. He showed up. You thought he's going to play a huge part in this show, and then he just disappears, and he finally shows back up, and it's like, oh, wow, there's the police character. I wonder where that guy went. And in this episode, too, you had Indira, and her character, she is thankfully now working for Lorraine.
Right.
Which
As
is
her head of security.
Which is a great choice. I don't know why you had to say that. People already know that. So.
God, Marco. Jeez.
What? You want me to continue
Keep
with
going.
that? With you?
No.
Keep going with what? My
Yeah,
opinion?
we know how you love to share your opinions.
That's not true. It's just I have to. That's what a review is. You know?
Not totally.
What do you like to do, Safi? Share your notes that you wrote after watching the episode 5 times and you still couldn't figure out that she was hiding under the floorboards. In fact, it was really funny when she did that because I thought, oh, that's great, because I should have figured that out last episode when the key went underneath the floor, and I should have figured out, oh, they're going to use that. They're not just going to throw it away and just have it be like, oh no, the key's lost forever. So I thought that was cool. And so, but what I was saying about Indira was that her character, she's kind of a waste too, because I really don't even see what she's going to do in the finale. Like, is she going to get in the game as well? Or do anything or what? Like, her character is now with Lorraine all the time, and Lorraine is not going to go there because Lorraine isn't a dipshit, so...
That would be dirty and beneath her.
Yeah.
God.
So she's never going to do that, so that means Indira is just going to be there too, with her. And so what's going to happen with them in the finale, that's kind of interesting to think about.
Well, that's my question. Are they going to show everybody in the finale?
I hope so.
I mean, I do too.
If they don't...
What's going to happen to Gator?
I don't know, but if they don't show everyone, I really hope, and I don't think I've said this for any of the Fargo seasons, because they killed off all the good characters in all the other seasons, except for, I guess, Mike from season 2. He might be still alive, but probably isn't. Is that, you know, they should make a sequel season to this season with these characters, but I don't think they're going to do that, so I hope that all the characters get like a cool moment in the finale, because a lot of characters in this episode got some cool moments, except for certain ones like Roy's wife. She's one of the worst characters in the show.
I think part of the problem, I don't think they really emphasize it as much, but her father is abusive too.
Whose father? It's not her father.
The wife.
It's Roy's father.
No, I thought that was her father.
It's Roy's father.
He said something about my
really?
Son-in-law. Yeah.
I'm going to look it up to make sure, because we all know how you like to change facts.
Oh, yeah,
and
right.
Use alternative facts.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
If I'm mistaken about something, that's one thing.
That's happened quite a few times this season.
No, it hasn't.
You made me look like an idiot.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say, too, that Dorothy got to talk to Wayne and her daughter, even if it was for 2 seconds, because the wife, with the shotgun in her hand, interrupted her and told her to get off the phone, because she sneaked up into their bedroom, found and got the phone and called them.
Well, I guess it is her father, because
I told you.
His name is Odin Little.
Yeah, Odin.
And it's not Tillman. Okay.
Told you.
Well, I was just like, why is he hanging around there? Like, he's such a dipshit loser.
He's a militia person,
he
too.
He just hangs... He's a hang-around. Like, does he hang around all day long just, like, telling Roy, like, you're not good enough for my daughter, but then again, my daughter's just a little piece of shit. So, like, is that all he does, like, all day, because he doesn't have anything else to do?
We called Dorothy, he said nasty things about her. I mean, like, what is wrong with these people? She didn't ask to come back there.
I know.
She was dragged there.
Well, it
irritates me.
It is true, though, that why is Roy this powerful sheriff person who's got everything you could want. Why is he throwing everything away for a woman?
Because
why?
He is an abuser, and their little thing, a little descriptive detail about abusers are, if I can't have her, nobody else can.
He doesn't even want her. He wants to kill her.
Well, I know that, but nobody else can have her. That means Wayne. That is a very well-known fact.
Well, he's terrible.
Well, I know. He's evil, and he really shows it too.
John Hamm is cool, but his character is evil.
Terrible.
And really awful.
There's 2 cases that you see what a horrible person he is, and this is in regards to people he supposedly cares about.
Well, I thought
his wife.
Yeah, that was funny.
Dorothy knocked her on the floor and knocked her out.
Yeah, they had a little encounter where you knew Dorothy's gonna mop the floor with this bitch.
Yeah, I
and
know.
she did. She did. She knocked her out in 2 seconds.
There was blood on her face.
And Roy walks in the room. And he looks around, and he doesn't even look at his wife. Like, he just doesn't even care at all.
No, she's like trash on the floor.
It's really, really funny.
And Dorothy takes her cell phone.
Yeah.
And then another case where Munch brings Gator from the fog.
That was probably my favorite moment of the episode.
Yeah, the fog part was really...
They had all this fog, which was very reminiscent of season 1, where Billy Bob was in the big snowstorm with the 2 policemen, and then the fat woman policeman, she shot the guy policeman on accident because she couldn't see, and so you're thinking next episode that's going to come into play for sure, is this fog. But they had this really cool scene that was like a standoff between Munch and Roy and Gator, who
can't see, and he's being led around by the neck
and
with a cord.
Gator kind of looks like Daredevil now. He's got like this blindfold on, and he kind of looks like he could be like Daredevil for Fargo, the Daredevil of Fargo universe. And Munch goes on this weirdo speech where I don't really understand anything he says except for, I'm giving you your useless hand back now or something, and then he just throws them at him and he disappears
into the fog.
And then Roy, who's just like the worst, he abandons his son.
He says, "You're useless to me now."
And he just says, "F you," and he leaves him.
And he can't see anyway, but he's nowhere near a building or anything.
That was a very good moment. And it was a very, very, I would say one of the better moments of the series. Because of the artisticness of the fog and everything. And I just,
really liked that with the fog.
That whole scene was like a highlight of the episode, which was surprising because I thought maybe Dorothy would have highlight moments, but she didn't because she needed to get her spirits back up, and she was a little I don't know.
Well, she calls Indira. Now remember, she does not know Indira works for the mother-in-law now, because when she saw her last, she was still a deputy, and so she calls there, and then she talks to the mother-in-law because and she asks her where Danish is because they can't find him, and she tells her that Roy killed him, and you could tell they're in shock. And
well, Lorraine acted like she was more upset about Danish dying than if...
I think she had a thing for him.
Well, that's why I said in the beginning, is he her husband?
I know.
Because he was more of her husband than her husband was. So she was extra pissed off, and so she got the army to come to Roy's ranch.
It's probably...
She got the army.
No, it's the FBI. Some of it's the FBI because the guy said he's from the FBI.
She got the deep state.
And then the two,
to come to
deep state.
Which I thought that was
the two
hilarious.
FBI agents were they're so poor of a representative of the FBI. It makes me want to.
They're probably the worst characters of the season.
Yeah,
I
really
think
don't care for them.
They're just awful characters. They added nothing at all.
Well, when they all find out, because Whit finds out because Indira calls him, said that Dorothy's there. She has the cell phone, which can help them triangulate her location on the place, and with that fog, they're going to need it. And all those other people have guns, and so the FBI agents lied up and said, "Oh, she could be a real good witness for our case," and he said, and she saved, and Whit, the highway patrolman, said, "Well, she saved my life, so you may see her with a gun, or some other kind of thing to ward off these people trying to kill her.
You may not see her, though. How is anyone going to see anyone in the fog?
Well, I don't think they have noticed the fog.
They should have fucking named the finale The Fog.
Yeah, that would have been good.
And another...
They could have named this one The Fog.
No.
They had to have Munch's beautiful, interesting philosophical language or whatever with the hand, the right hand or whatever.
Another thing that happens, which I guess might play into next episode because they hinted at something, was that before Roy got his son back that he doesn't care about, he checked the dugout, which I will say one thing is that it was very cliche how Roy was with his right-hand man, who I don't know his name.
He's African-American and tall and skinny and scrawny and wears a cowboy hat.
And he said, "You go check the obvious place where Dorothy is probably hiding, and I'm going to go check the place where she's probably not hiding." Like, because he was like, we got to check the places where she'd think that we wouldn't look. And I was like, yeah. And I bet, like, this is what always happens in, like, movies and video games and shows, is that the main bad guy will go check an area where you're not in. But then the right-hand man bad guy will go to your area, and then you get to defeat him. So the only thing that I was wrong about, though, was that she would defeat them. I was wrong about that. But I thought that was very cliche. But when he went to the dugout...
Which is a tunnel. And
he did this thing where he, like, switched the lights on and kept the door open, and he said just in case.
Well, he grabbed something from above. And I was wondering if it was keys or something.
Yeah, and I think that something next episode's going to happen with that.
Well, they do show in the preview, because I've watched it about 10 times trying to figure out who's who, because they like to show arms and feet, and they don't show the whole person.
Why would you want to figure it out?
Because
why wouldn't you just want to watch the episode?
But anyway, it looked like Whip.
Because you want to spoil it for me again?
What's the matter with you?
Like you spoiled this episode with the Daredevil picture? Huh?
I don't know.
I hope you don't spoil the finale.
Yeah.
That's what you like to do, wouldn't you? Say, Marco,
Marco,
Dorothy dies. Dorothy dies, Marco. Isn't that sad? And I'll go like,
see that.
Geez, Safi.
The title of the episode
We're in the episode.
Is Bisquick.
I don't know. You never know in Fargo.
Why would they name it Bisquick?
I don't know. Well, something to mention, too, is that, you know, typically in the Fargo series, no matter how not evil a character is, if they do one thing illegal in the season, they get in trouble or they get killed at the end. Like in season 2... Wait. Well, specifically season 3, you know, the girlfriend and then the rich guy, they both were great characters and they did a lot of good stuff, and then they still both got killed in the end. Season 2, you had Kirsten Dunst. She lost her husband and she went to prison for life, even though what she was doing was good. And season 1, there's probably 1, 2 to mention, but I can't remember at this point. I'm, you know, season 1 was really cliche with who survived that one. But, like, it seems like every character has to get consequences. And so, is Munch going to get any consequences in the finale? Is Lorraine going to get any consequences? Is Dorothy going to get consequences? Hopefully not. But that's in the back of my mind because it's Fargo. And in Fargo, the whole message is that, like, every person who breaks the law always gets their comeuppance in the end, even if they... Or you could have it like in season 2, like, where the guy is stuck in the office forever. Like, they always have to get punished. So, is Munch going to get punished? I really hope not, because he doesn't deserve to be punished. He's cool. And he's weird. And if you try to kill him, he might turn into a vampire or something and try to kill you. I don't know. Because he doesn't even seem like a real person. He seems just like a creature.
He's mythical. A mythical being
from
the past. I
think that there should be a religion started that, people worship Munch and his character. Right? Wouldn't that be funny? Or they could do a sequel, too, where they have, like, a cult. Like, the women's cult in the Linda episode. But instead of making puppets, everyone makes pancakes and they worship Munch. And they're weirdos all day and they're in the bathtub together and I don't know.
They have to make this extra effort to make his dialogue, too, because it's so specialized.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I'm glad I don't have to do that.
I mean, they really have to have a mindset to the past. And like this is the medieval times and make it like that.
What's your mindset, Safi? Spoiling episodes?
Oh, Marco, don't be a dip.
So what else is there to mention? Because like a lot of this episode...
Well, she hides in the grave, and that must have been awful. I can't even imagine.
It's not a real grave, Safi.
Well, it might as well be. They throw dead bodies in this pit, and then they put a lime over the bodies.
Those aren't real dead bodies. This is a show.
Well, I know that, but that's... but you have to imagine that's
for the character. Well,
what it is. In fact, what is it really originally for? That's what I couldn't figure out.
Linda?
No, I mean originally, what would they have that for?
A silo?
No, a silo.
Or I mean, not a silo.
Tubular thing.
I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. And they have that big dish, giant, not a dish like a TV or satellite, like a big bowl, like a water bowl. It's giant. I thought that was a trough, like for horses, because they do have horses and cattle everywhere. So
if I were Dorothy, I would rather hide in a grave than be in a grave.
Right. Well,
so
anyway,
that's not really a tough choice for me.
Ending to the episode.
Another highlight of the episode, because it was kind of like what I said I wanted to see.
Right.
Where Munch comes to the rescue and he kills all these bad guys easily. And then he saves Dorothy and he says, the tiger is in a cage, and so it is not a fair fight with the tiger. And now the tiger may come out. And then he gives her a gun.
The gun that she had originally.
And he says, bye-bye. And he just lets her go on a killing spree.
He said, now the tiger is free.
And so now she's going to kill everybody, hopefully.
She's not.
What? Why? Wouldn't it be cool if she was the one who killed everyone and then...
No.
Why? They deserve it.
She is going to go after somebody, but I don't know if she's going to kill them.
Every one of those militia members deserves to die. Roy's wife, Roy's wife's father. They all deserve to die. None of them deserve to live.
Well, I know, but if one of them is going to die, some of the... I'm kind of worried that Whit is going to die. He's already disabled.
I don't think he's...
Last gun
they won't kill the police characters in this show. Except for if it's a Mormon character like the U.S. Marshal or a racist, corrupt detective like in season 4. Season 4 they made an exception because they were like, no, actually, there's a lot of bad police officers and let's just kill them and then have these police characters who they can survive anything like in season 2. And another thing, too, there's not been any aliens or anything this season.
That's right. There's usually some kind of supernatural something.
And
I guess you could say in the last season there was a weather event. The tornado.
No, Safi, last season they had ghosts.
They also had the tornado.
But
right?
the ghosts were supernatural, Safi.
Yes, that was supernatural. But I mean, so that it wasn't very much.
In this season,
it was something.
They had that one flashback scene in episode 3 with Munch's relative.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was supernatural, though, so...
It's just an ancestry thing.
I was also surprised that there wasn't any supernatural interference in this episode. Like, I kind of thought for a moment that a UFO is going to come out and it's going to interfere like in that shitty season 2 episode where, you know, the aliens ruined everything and... You know, that just fucking sucked.
Maybe the fog is kind of like a supernatural effect.
Safi, the fog is not supernatural.
Know,
we have fog this morning.
It's a weather event.
Safi.
But still, it makes everything very iffy and creepy and actually beautiful, and it's just a combination of a lot of things. It was really good. It's one of the best effects. And you know that they made it. We talked about this before we did the episode, did this review, because in order to have fog, they would have had to have warm weather. This is Calgary, Canada. It was freezing cold, and so they had to have made it. But it was such a great effect, really cool. I loved it. That's one of my favorite things about the episode, besides the
we
end.
know you watched it 5 times.
Besides the ending.
Before you would do a review. And another thing to mention is that, you know, most of this episode is Roy and the police and the army at a standstill. Because it's like he's not going to surrender.
No.
And they're not going to leave without Dorothy and without taking him down. So... You know, they kind of had to, like, drag it out a little bit. Not really drag it out, but just, like, let it breathe. Because if they ended it really fast, you know, everybody'd be dead, and you wouldn't even have a finale. So, next episode, we're going to get all the action, hopefully. I really hope that... Because Fargo... I'm trying to think, have they ever had a good finale? Like, Season 1's finale was terrible... Season 2's finale was terrible.
How about the last season?
Season
Wasn't it bad?
Season 3 finale was terrible. Because they'll just kill off all the best characters, and then you're not left with anything good to watch. At least Season 1 had some good stuff happen before it became terrible and at that finale. But Season 4's finale was terrible because... They had to, like, redo it because of a pandemic, so, you know, they had to change everything around, and, but Season 4's finale was just really forgettable and bad, too. So, like, they're not very good with finales, in my opinion.
I hope it's different this time, then.
They have good moments in finales. Like, they've had plenty of good moments and ideas, but... I really don't feel like they're good at making finales, but it looks like this season might be the exception.
Hope so.
Right, Safi?
Yeah, hope so.
Because this episode was really good. You guys only heard one complaint, and you should be thankful for that, because that means that it's actually really good, and that there's nothing wrong with it, basically.
So I gave it an A, and I would think Marco would.
I give it an A+, because why would I need to give it anything lower than that? Safi?
You're making faces for giving an A, too.
You didn't give it an A+.
An A is an A.
Why not an A+? What was the thing that made it so it's not an A+? I just said there's...
That doesn't matter.
Oh, it does. You're a reviewer. You're giving grades.
So I gave it an A+.
Good.
It was really...
You watched this episode 5 times.
It was kind of like this episode was... Or the season, I mean, it was kind of like a bowl. You have these really good episodes at the beginning, which Marco talked about.
And really good ones at the end.
Mediocre in the middle, so it goes like from high to sliding down to the bottom. Then you have kind of a climb to the top, and then here we are near the end. and at the end, actually, and it's gone up. So it's really weird.
And then you have...
Thank God there were 10 episodes. Like I said,
I know.
10 out of 4.
I know.
To have a bad episode with so few episodes.
Yeah.
So 10 at least increases the odds of having more... for having better episodes.
And it feels more like a show and less like a movie, like an extended movie, like all these other shows. But I will like to amend my grades. I'm going to give episode 1 A+. I'm going to give episode 2 A+. And I'm going to give episode... What was last episode? Episode 8?
Last episode was Blanket.
8? Or 9. It was 8.
This is 9, and the last one was 8.
I will give 8 an A+2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 A+ episodes out of 10. That's a pretty good... That's probably the best quality since season 3. Even though season 3 had some pretty bad moments, like that episode 3. Remember that, Safi, where they ripped off Bart and Fink, and it was just terrible and boring? That episode, that's probably one of the worst episodes of the series.
The puppet one?
No, season 3, episode 3. Where they ripped off Bart and Fink, and they just did this stupid story, and it didn't really have anything to do with the season. It was just like a giant red herring, and it just sucked really badly. Safi, you scooted away for some reason, like you're Professor Xavier going to I don't know, see the other mutants around in your school. Safi?
We're at the end, so if you like this episode, unless Marco has anything else to say...
You mean video. This isn't an episode, it's a video. If you
liked this video of talking about the episode 9...
Video.
Then give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers and tell us what you think about Fargo Season 5 and how the episodes went. And in this episode especially, what was your favorite part? And what would you like to see? And are you in agreement with us? I would like to see every character at least show them what happens to him. Like, what happens to Gator? Is he just gonna freeze to death? Is he gonna get shot to death? Because he's completely blind.
I thought he'd become Daredevil after that moment.
I don't know. He's pretty bad.
Well, that's because he doesn't have any positive reinforcement.
No, he doesn't have any
support system. He has Roy reinforcement.
Yeah.
And you know how Roy reinforces people.
Yeah.
He punches them in the face. Or he rapes them.
Or shoots them in the chest.
Or he rapes them. Right, Safi?
An unarmed man. So, anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.